Somewhere in space, this may all be happening right now.
For pretty much my entire cultural memory, I've considered myself a fan of the Star Wars franchise. That might not seem like a big deal, considering it's one of the largest media properties out there. Lately, however, I've been thinking a lot about that sci-fi series I first fell in love with back in 2nd grade. We are now deep in the latest round of entries in the Star Wars cinematic saga, with yet another film on the horizon. The immense size and depth of this universe means there are a great number of wonderful projects out there that you might not know about. One of these is a small video game titled Star Wars Republic Commando. It was released by the video game development and publishing firm LucasArts in 2005, just months before Revenge of the Sith hit the big screen. Forged in the fire of office politics, Republic Commando went through a lot simply to get out of the development stage. Today, I'm going to tell you all about just what's in this gem, and what it took to bring it to a Steam library near you. The game is a squad-based first-person shooter that takes us inside the helmet of a clone trooper, not a Jedi or a farm boy following his destiny.
Would you like a large or a small crater, sir?
Just get us inside without killing the squad, okay, Scorch?
The result is a far more gritty and unpleasant world than the comparably glamorous one of philosophy and politics inhabited by their Jedi generals. It was this approach to world building that influenced the composer for the game's soundtrack, Jesse Harlan. The most well-known songs from the game are sung by a male choir in Ancient Mandalorian, representing the ancestry of the trooper's father, Jango Fett. Harlan explained in a 2006 interview that this represents the unified thoughts of the clone troopers as they fight and die together for the Republic without any regard for their own lives. At the same time, however, Republic Commando manages to avoid no Russian levels of edginess, with an enjoyable cast of characters, each with their own identifiable personality. 6'2" was the wisecracking demolitions expert. He earned the nickname Scorch when he accidentally removed his training sergeant's eyebrows, as well as his own, in a lesson on explosives.
If we're all clones, why am I the only one with a sense of humor?
4-0 is the squad's resident computer expert, and tolerates no games or nonsense.
Shut it, 6'2".
07 is the team's marksman, and is equipped with a grim sense of humor that leads his squadmates to wonder if someone tampered with his cloning tank.
Come out, so I can kill you all.
And finally, there's 3-8, the boss. He is the leader of the other commandos, and is the one the player controls. Voiced by Jango Fett actor Temuera Morrison, 3-8 is rough and tough, but also cares deeply about his brothers.
Getting acquainted with the locals, eh?
This extends to the enemies as well. The super battle droids in particular are more threatening and can take more punishment than in their other portrayals, both in movies and in video games. In order to get a second opinion on Republic Commando, I spoke with Trevor Strunk. He is the host of the podcast No Cartridge, an English instructor at DeSales University, and received his doctorate in English from the University of Illinois in 2017.
I think mostly people are interested in the fact that I do a podcast on video games called No Cartridge. It's sort of like I invite people on, I do interviews, and we talk about various elements of gaming kind of from we try to take it a little deeper than sort of surface level.
Strunk had not played Republic Commando before I reached out to him about helping me make this video. He agreed with me about the characters, both on the side of the clones and the droids. He noticed that this character building element was an area where the prequels fell short, but Republic Commando seems to have succeeded.
And that the droids are very, very dangerous. They're not sort of like the kind of jokey, like even in the Clone Wars, like the droid that has his head on backwards or whatever, like it you know, like they were jokes. I mean, they were totally ridiculous, and this is a much more serious kind of like again, it feels like a military shooter much more than a Star Wars game, which was kind of fascinating.
The way this game differs from most of its own franchise is also interesting. Gore is featured very few times in Star Wars as a whole, and only to mark special moments in the movies. The rest of the time, we're left to assume that most weapons in the Star Wars galaxy cauterize a wound instantly, or that the blood is somehow trapped inside full-body armor. Republic Commando, on the other hand, is covered in the blood or oil of your enemies. It's not Saw or Dead Space by any means, but it goes to show how LucasArts brought the player a vastly different experience. With all of that said, I'd like to talk about the hoops this game had to jump through in order to be released. The twilight of the prequels threw a massive wrench in George Lucas's media empire, including LucasArts. In the midst of this, Jim Ward was installed as the company's new CEO, with the intention of cutting expenses. Ward came from the movie side of things, and had a big hand in marketing The Phantom Menace. As a result, LucasArts employees and Ward butted heads often, and only 5 games received the LucasArts stamp of approval: Revenge of the Sith, Mercenaries Playground of Destruction, LEGO Star Wars, Battlefront 2, and, of course, Republic Commando. The dev team had based their design of the Commando's Kataran-class armor on the limited canon source material that existed at the time, particularly Episode 2. Other than markings and color schemes to display rank and specialization, there was little to differentiate individual clones. According to an email from Republic Commando lead programmer Brett Deauville, Star Wars creator George Lucas sent feedback on the game in the summer of 2004, requesting changes to the voices and personalities of the characters.
Someone important noted your excellence on Geonosis. You hear that, Sev? Someone thinks I'm excellent.
Well, at least that makes 2 of you.
Delta Squad, prepare for low-gravity infiltration. Seal your suits. Good luck.
In September, lead sound designer David Collins took a last-minute flight to New Zealand to record lines with Temuera Morrison. The game was then finished in late 2004 and first premiered in February 2005 in North America on the Xbox. So while Republic Commando did catch some criticism for its relatively short 6-hour campaign, the team should probably be let off the hook.
I like the fact that it doesn't seem to be a short game that was only built to be a multiplayer game. It doesn't feel like it was a short game that is like, you know, a short game because it's a, you know, they ran out of money or whatever. Like, there's all sorts of reasons for short games, but like, there's very few short games that actually are short because that is the intention. And it feels like this is the intention here.
Despite its trials and age, Republic Commando maintains a loyal fan base. They enjoy a whole series of novels and tributes in later media. Fans have created numerous game mods and other content, and enlisted a small army of costumed commandos. Altogether, I'd say Brett and his team did pretty well.
Sorry, Deltas. Looks like it's back to the action. You have your orders.
Delta Squad, lock and load.